We're diving deep into something absolutely critical for anyone in the startup world, the pitch deck. For founders, these aren't just slides. They're often the bridge or maybe the barrier to getting that funding that can, well, make or break the whole thing. Now, there's tons of advice out there, but one thing always seems to trip people up. It causes real confusion, and that's the length. How long should a pitch deck really be? So our mission today, cut through that noise. We're looking at insights, sources like optimizing your pitch deck length, and we want to uncover the kind of surprising impact of just the slide count itself.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel now.
Think of this as your shortcut to understanding this really vital piece of fundraising. Why is this one thing, sounds so simple, right? Why is it such a massive signal? Something investors notice, like before they even read a word. It feels, yeah, there's more going on here. Let's unpack this.
You're absolutely right. It's a really profound point. Experienced advisors, investors I've talked to, they say they can often get a feel for a founder's chances just by the number of slides. Seriously, without even opening the file sometimes.
Wow.
It's an immediate signal, sort of subconscious maybe, sets a tone. Think about it like this. From the investor side, they might be putting millions on the line. Could be their own savings. Could be capital they've raised. I mean, it's their livelihoods, their family's finances, their reputation.
Huge stakes.
Exactly. So if a founder hasn't, spent maybe 10 minutes researching the best practice for deck length, or maybe they researched it but couldn't actually deliver that concise deck, well, why should an investor trust them with millions of dollars then?
Right.
It says a lot about attention to detail, respect for the investor's time, just general preparedness.
That's the fascinating part, isn't it? That something seemingly so small, just a number, carries so much weight.
Yeah.
But how does that signal, specifically work? Is it just, do they do their homework? Or something deeper?
Oh, it's definitely deeper than just homework.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel now.
It's about projected confidence and respect. When you show up with a tight, well-structured deck, it says, I value your time. It says, I've done the hard work of boiling this down. It signals you really understand your core value and can pitch it without rambling. On the flip side, a huge deck. It can scream, I don't know what's important, or I can't focus, or even, I'm just throwing everything at the wall.
Desperation almost.
Yeah, it could be perceived that way. It's about showing competence and clarity through, well, brevity.
Okay, so if we're talking signals, the clear message, the kind of golden rule here is shorter is better.
Absolutely. That's the main takeaway. Shorter is better. And, it might seem easier to just dump everything onto slides.
Wait, the brain dump approach.
Yeah, but actually crafting a shorter, punchier deck, that's much harder.
Yeah.
But doing that difficult work, being able to, kill your darlings and really distill it, that's a massive differentiator. It proves you can focus, you can execute.
That
Subscribe to my YouTube channel now.
execution piece again?
Right, that you can take good advice and, just get things done in a disciplined way. Honestly, that's what separates the maybe 1% that succeed from the 99% that, well, don't.
Harsh reality.
It is. If you can't focus enough to create a concise deck, how are you going to build a scalable, focused business? And this bleeds directly into your actual presentation, your delivery. Let's say you get a whole hour slot, which is generous.
Yeah, pretty rare sometimes.
Even then, if your deck actually takes more than, say, 20 minutes to talk through, that's dangerous territory. You need to leave lots of room for Q&A. That's often where the real conversation happens.
And things always start late.
Always. Or there's a tech glitch, the projector doesn't work.
Been there.
We all have. I've seen founders' brilliant ideas just fizzle out because they're only on slide 15 of 40 when the clock hits 0, cut off right before the hook, right before the ask.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen.
No, definitely not. And the source material brings up some good practical tips related to this for just keeping the flow. Keep this line simple. Lots of white space. Use bigger fonts so key facts just jump out.
Yes.
It's not just about looking nice. It actually helps people follow along, keeps their interest, stops them drowning in text.
Absolutely crucial. Respecting their attention span, like you said. And hey, let's not forget the boring stuff like file size and sharing.
Yeah, the practicalities.
Right. A shorter deck means a smaller file. Much easier to email, to upload, to share. It's way less likely to get stuck in spam filters or just deleted because it's clogging up an inbox.
Good point. Increases the chance it actually gets seen by the right person.
Exactly. Little detail, potentially big impact.
Okay, so we've established shorter is definitely the way to go, but how short? What are we actually talking about here? Is there a magic number or like a range?
Yeah, there are some pretty clear guidelines. It can shift a little depending on your startup stage. Obviously, if you're pre-seed, pre-revenue, you'll have less data, and they expect less data. But as a general rule, try, like really try, to avoid going over 20 pages, 20 slides, at all costs.
20 max. Got it.
16 is even better. If you can hit 16, you're in great shape. And honestly, for those really early stage folks, pre-seed, maybe just an idea, 10 slides, even fewer sometimes, can be totally sufficient. Get straight to the point.
Wow. Okay, so those are really concrete numbers, not just vague advice. 20 max, 16 better, maybe 10 or less if you're super early. That gives founders something really specific to aim for. That's helpful. So if you're aiming for, say, 10 to 16 slides, what absolutely has to be in there? What are the essential pieces you can't cut?
Great question.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel now.
You need the core story distilled.
Yeah.
So number 1, the cover slide.
The first impression.
Exactly. Sets the stage, needs your company name, logo, contact info, obviously, and a really good tagline or slogan. Something catchy. This alone can decide if they click to the next slide or just delete.
Okay, cover slide. Nailed it.
Then, slide 2, the problem. You got to show you deeply understand the pain point you're solving and explain it simply, clearly. This is a great slide to tell a story around, make it resonate, connect emotionally.
Make them feel the pain.
Sort of, yeah. Show you get it. Then, logically, slide 3 is your solution. What is it? How does it directly solve that one main problem you just laid out? Keep it focused.
Problem, solution. Makes sense. What's 4?
Market size. Hugely important for investors. They need to see the potential scale.
Right. Is this a billion-dollar idea or a niche thing?
Exactly. Show the total market size, sure, but then be realistic about your addressable market, your slice of the pie you can actually reach.
Okay, TAM, SAM, SAM stuff. Got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then, slide 5, competition. You have to address it. Who else is out there? How are you different? Crucially, what's your sustainable competitive advantage? Your moat.
And maybe a visual helps here, like a magic quadrant.
Yeah, a good graphic positioning yourself against them can be really effective. Just don't make it too cluttered.
Okay, competition. Next. We're probably skipping number 6 from the source outline, right? What's after competition?
Let's call it slide 6 then. The product itself. What are you actually building?
Show, don't just tell.
Precisely. Use images, prototypes, screenshots, mock-ups, maybe pictures of it being used in a real-world scenario. Make it tangible.
Okay, product visuals.
Then, slide 7, the customer. Who are you selling this to? Be specific. Is it consumers, small businesses, big enterprises? Define that ideal customer avatar. Who is that perfect person or company?
Know your audience.
Deeply. And finally, maybe slide 8, feedback or traction.
Validation.
Yes. What proof do you have that people actually want this? This could be quotes from potential customers, early user data, pilot results, testimonials, anything showing real-world interest.
So cover, problem, solution, market, competition, product, customer, feedback, traction. That's like 8 core slides.
Exactly. You might combine some or add one for team or the ask, but that's the essential story flow. Getting those key elements across concisely, powerfully, within that tight slide limit, that's how you prove you can articulate the vision, that you're focused, and that you understand what investors need to see.
Right. It demonstrates that discipline we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel now.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, the big takeaway feels really clear. Pitch deck length. It's not just about formatting, is it? It's strategic, it's communication. It's a huge signal.
Huge.
Shorter, focused decks. They don't just save time or hold attention better. They actually convey competence, discipline, clarity before the investor even really digs into the content.
Absolutely. It really taps into that whole theme of clarity and discipline being vital for any successful business. Being able to master brevity in your pitch, it shows you can distill complex stuff, you can prioritize, you can execute under pressure.
Essential skills for any founder.
Totally essential. And that's fundamentally what investors are betting on, not just the idea, but the founder's ability to execute.